flag of the
United States of America,
to the republic for which it
and
stands,
stands
one
one
nation,
nation, under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty
with
and
liberty and
justice for all.
justice for all.
Thank you. We have two public hearings tonight. I will be taking a roll call for each hearing. So I'd like to take the roll call for public hearing number one, which is potential projects for development for a community development block grant program for 2021. Commissioner Baca will not be with us tonight due to work commitments. With that said, I'll take roll call. Commissioner Whitaker.
Here.
Commissioner Rakowski.
Here.
Commissioner Neary.
Here.
George Needles.
Here.
Mike Pierce.
Here.
Lisa Catania.
Here.
Thank you. As indicated, tonight is a public hearing to consider potential projects for which funding may be applied for from Delaware County under the Community Development Block Grant Program for project year 2021. I think two of the projects that the board had discussed in the past was to continue our sign project, and a second potential project would be a streetscape project from Chichester Avenue to Johnson Avenue Park. So with that said, if there's any comments from the commissioners, I will take that at this moment and open it for this discussion. Commissioner Whitaker, do you have any comments at this time?
Yeah, the comment that I have is just I am in agreement with the two projects. I would, I think that the Johnson Avenue project should be the priority project, and the street signage should be the second project. Being as though we have that the whole the grant that's already in that area, if we could kind of combine them to improve that area, which I think would be ideal.
Commissioner Rakowski?
I agree. I think we ought to continue both our projects. I know COVID hit pretty hard, and we don't know if the funding's going to be there, so I think we need to just continue what we have. So not to take something else on and not get enough money for all to finish those and then start another project. I wouldn't mind starting another project in my ward in 2022, so we could take a look at that then for some stormwater management on McKay Avenue. So, but I'm okay with it.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Neary.
I definitely agree with the Johnson Avenue rehab because it's one of the first times that anything in my ward has been available for CDBG funding. I was looking at number 6. I can live, which is the sidewalk and curb upgrades. I can live with number 4, but I think we could also consider distributing the money to other wards.
Thank you. Mrs. Catania, you're a township engineer. Do you have any comments considering the program?
No, I had put together the list just with no priority to them, and after discussing with the Upper Chichester staff, I have to agree that looking at Johnson Avenue, considering the fact that we now have everything for go for the the Chichester Avenue streetscape, this would be an extension of that streetscape project, as well as projects that we've already done on Johnson Avenue in 2015. We also have a Green Region grant that will be included with the Johnson Avenue Park. So it would continue that, and I think that's a very positive thing for that Linwood Heights area.
Thank you. There's no other comments from our commissioners or professionals. George Needles, I believe, has a comment at this point in time.
Yeah, I just would like it to be noted that this public hearing was advertised in the Daily Times on Saturday, December the 5th, and then the next week, Monday, December the 7th.
Thank you.
And the proof of publication is available at the Township Building.
If there are any citizens' comments, I will take them at this time. The dial-in number is 571-748-4021. Again, the number to call in is 571-748-4021. The code to enter is 879-829-234#. Again, the code is 879-829-234#. To unmute your phone, dial *6. After unmuting your phone, state your name, your address, then begin your comment. You'll be given 2 minutes to speak, and you will be placed back on hold. Are there any citizens' comments at this moment? I will give it a minute.
So I'd like to add something if there are no citizens' comments. When you finish waiting for citizens' comments.
No problem. Let the record show there's no citizens' comments at this moment. Commissioner Whitaker, you have additional comments?
Yes, I was just going to add that going back to either Ed or Joe's comments for a second project. I mean, I'm not sold on the street signing. I mean, if that's open for either the stormwater or the curbs and sidewalks. I didn't know if you all wanted, or if you were fine with the 2 projects. I just wanted to throw that out there. It wasn't, set in stone. Mr. Neary, did you move your camera closer or something?
I moved it up.
Oh, okay. I can only see
Before
your
it was sitting
forehead.
down
We can
on-
see your forehead. Okay. I can only see
You
your
see
forehead.
me?
Now I can see your one of your eyes. One eye.
Hold on.
Okay. I just wanted to let you know.
Is that better?
I could.
As better as it gets.
You were fine with me, Joe. I saw
You can see him? Okay. So maybe it's just my camera then. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's, no, you're good, Commissioner Neary.
I look better muted, believe me.
I'm fine with looking at all 3 projects, but we're supposed to.
As I said,
Go ahead, Commissioner Neary.
I'm fine with 1 and 4 if that's the consensus of the board. The reason I didn't pick 7 when I was looking at it is because it would require additional funding on top of it, and I don't know what our resources are going to be. So that's why I went with 1 and 6. But I can live with 1 and 4 if that's the consensus of the board.
Right, and just my comment, I mean, like Joe was saying, the money's right now, we're not sure. Nicole, have we started that project for the signs already? I thought we did, like the park signs and stuff. So that's what I mean.
We've
Yeah.
done
Sorry.
it. Go ahead.
I can tell you that all of the street name signs have been installed. The welcome signs are in. We met with the contractor. The signs in Excelsior Village will be installed probably by the end of next week. Well, before the end of next week, because we're into Christmas then. And we are not going to install the one in Twin Oaks because we have an idea of putting some traffic calming in. So we will be utilizing that sign as part of the traffic calming. We're hoping to have an okay for the change in scope from OHCD shortly. I know that Colleen was in touch with Phil Welsh today, and hopefully we'll have an answer from OHCD just to store that sign and complete it once we have the traffic calming done there.
So I believe there might be a consensus to go with the streetscapes and curbs and sidewalks projects. Is that correct? Commissioner
I'm fine
Whitaker,
with 1 and 6. Yes, I'm
Okay.
fine with 1 and 6.
Is everybody else okay with 1 and 6?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm
Thank
good.
you.
So during our regular meeting tonight, there will be a resolution that will be up for consideration, and that resolution will insert projects 1 and project 6 as the primary and the alternate projects.
Correct.
If I may, we'll have to go one further on number 6 because we're either going to have to determine whether it's Greenwood Avenue or Mill Road or some other road within that area of eligibility. We're not going to be able to do all of Greenwood Avenue and all of Mill Road as one project and stay within that $100,000, just so everyone's aware.
All right. We can discuss that at a later date to confirm the specific areas, correct?
In all, with all due respect, the deadline for for these applications is January the 6th. So we have the holidays between now and January 6th. And I appreciate that we can get it done, but we'd have to know rather quickly because we'll have to do at least some sort of a sketch plan for that work. All right.
Lisa, I think if the intention is to try to proceed forward with putting sidewalks into that neighborhood, which it sounds like that's kind of where we're at, I would think that a natural starting point would be the Mill Road.
Correct. I agree.
Okay. All right, so when we have our commissioners meeting tonight, then we'll specify that area and we'll specify the streetscape project also. So if there's no other questions or comments from anybody, I'd like to close out this hearing and start the next one. So if I can have a motion and a second, close out the first hearing.
So moved?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Public hearing number 1 is adjourned. At this moment, we will start public hearing number 2. Public hearing number 2 is a public hearing of proposed ordinance 737 in which Upper Chichester Township desires to vacate a unnamed alley running from Columbia Avenue to I-95 and devise itself of any interest in the aforesaid alley in favor of 1830 Chichester Avenue. At this moment, I would like to go to our township engineer for opening comments.
This particular request was made as part of a land development project, and taking a look at this particular issue, it has no bearing on any of the township functions. So therefore, I would suggest that the board would consider vacating the alley to benefit the land development.
Thank you. Mr. Gaskey, I believe this is so we'll open up with your comments. Oh, my apologies, made a mistake. Commissioner
Whitaker.
Whitaker, I believe this is your ward. My apologies. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Yes, I agree. I spoke with the actual owner and this has been, I guess, an issue. And so I'm in favor of vacating the property in favor of the current owner.
Commissioner Warkowski, any
Yes.
comments?
Yeah, I have a comment. Just to have an understanding on record. We're vacating the alley, which is fine, per the request of 1830 Chichester Avenue. Am I correct?
Correct, 1830 Chichester Avenue.
So when this vacate would not be half goes the other property, half goes this. This is all vacated to full 15 feet. Will vacate to 1830 then.
That's correct. It runs
Okay.
between that property, yes.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. That's, I just wanted to make sure that was on record, that the whole 15 feet, it's not split between the two. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the company 1830 Chichester Avenue Realty LLC owns both properties. So they have
Oh, okay.
front and the back.
Makes it easier.
Commissioner Neary?
I have no comments.
Thank you. At this time, I will open up, our township manager will read proof of application for this.
This public hearing, as well as ordinance number 737, which will be on the agenda for the public meeting tonight, were advertised in the Delaware County Daily Times on Saturday, December 5th, and again in the subsequent week on Monday, December 7th.
Thank you. At this moment, I'll take public comments. Again, the call-in number is 571-748-4021. Again, the call number is 571-748-4021. The code to enter is 879-829-234 #. Again, the code is 879-829-234 #. To unmute your phone, please dial *6. After unmuting your phone, state your name and address and your comment. And I will give this another minute.
Should I?
Let the record show there are no public comments for public hearing number 2. We'll be bringing this up later on in our meeting with a motion and a second for approval. So with that said, I'd like to close out public hearing number 2. Can I have a motion and a second to do so?
So moved.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Public hearing number 2 is adjourned. At this moment, we'll move on to our regular Board of Commissioners meeting for December 16th, 2020. I will take roll call again. Commissioner Whitaker,
Here.
Commissioner Rakowski,
Here.
Commissioner Neary,
Here.
Township Manager George Needles,
Here,
Township Engineer Lisa Catania,
Here.
Township Solicitor Michael Pierce,
Here.
and myself present. Thank you. So I'd like to stand up and do the pledge at this moment, please. Thank you. Pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag
of the
of the
United
United
States
States of America,
And
to
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 the
the
republic
republic
for
for
which
which
it
stands
stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible,
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 with liberty
with liberty and
justice
justice for all.
for all.
for all.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we had some very well-known residents that passed away recently within the township, and I'd like to take a moment of silence for them. Individuals that passed away were John Ordoff, Walter Getchell, Jerry Gasparo, and Gail King. So if we can stand and just have a moment of silence, I would think it'd be a nice gesture on our part. Thank you. Have approval of the minutes for the October 29th, 2020 Board of Commissioners special meeting. the November 2020 Board of Commissioners caucus meeting and November 12th, 2020 Board of Commissioners regular meeting.
So moved.
Second it.
All in favor?
There were three minor changes I gave to George, which they referred to the school board instead of the stormwater authority, but not material.
Any other comments? Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it, and motion is carried. At this moment, I'll open up our meeting back to citizens' comments. Once again, the number is 571-748-4021. The code to enter is 879-829-234#. Again, the call-in number is 571-748-4021. The code to enter is 879-829-234#. So mute your phone, please dial *6. I'll give this another minute. Get another couple moments.
Are you on the right one? I'm just excited.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Can you please state your name and address?
Yeah, my name is Joe Montalvo, 317 Willowbrook Road. Just wanted to inform you that the passcode that you're giving out is incorrect. The one on the
879.
the one on the website is 827, the first three. And that seems to be working, not the 879.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comment?
No, not yet.
All right. Thank you, Joe. All right, let the record show there's no more citizens' comments at this time. If there's no objection from the board at the end of the meeting, since there was a typo in the agenda tonight, maybe perhaps we can open up the citizens' comments again at the end in case anybody has any questions from the public. I'd like to move on to item number 7, which will be read by Commissioner Joe Neary.
Whereas the Township of Upper Chichester takes pride in its longtime citizens who bring joy, dedication, and involvement in their community. And whereas Charles James McHugh was born on the 2nd day of September in the year of 1930 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and celebrated his 90th year of life. And whereas Charles McHugh of 90 Winding Way is a 4th degree Knight of Columbus with the St. John Fisher, formerly Holy Savior Council. And whereas Charles McHugh is a Korean War veteran and has been honored by the United States military by being a recipient of the Purple Heart. And whereas Charles McHugh not only contributed to the Upper Chichester community, but also in the Delaware County community, and is a founding member and former president of the Fallcroft Boys Club, where he coached ball for 30 years and served as Grand Marshal of the Fallcroft Boys Club 50th Anniversary Parade. And whereas Charles McHugh brings integrity and honor to his late wife, Doris Louise Griffin, his 3 children, Dennis, Keith, and Diane, and his 6 grandchildren, Kristen, Laura, Jason, Jackie, Kelly, and Allison. Now therefore be it proclaimed, the Board of Commissioners of Upper Chichester Township do hereby wish Charles, Pop, Bud, James McHugh a happy and healthy 90th birthday and wish him many more years of prosperity. This day, proclaimed this day, the 16th of December. So moved.
Second it.
Motion, motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor?
Congratulations.
Indeed. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and motion is carried. Commissioner Neary will be reading item number 8 on the agenda also.
The Upper Chichester Township Board of Commissioners would like to congratulate the following township employees for reaching years of service milestones in 2020. Michael Shermack, 25 years. Betty Jean Shivert, 15 years. Jean Marie Brumall, 10 years. Colin Bernard, 5 years. Richard Graham, 5 years. George Needles, 5 years. And Sam Rudolph, 5 years. So moved.
Second.
Second it.
Motion and a second. And any comments from the commissioners?
Yeah, who's that George Needles guy? No.
Yeah, we can waive that one.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That went by fast.
Yeah.
I'd like to say congratulations to all of our employees on their service awards, and hope to see many more. So there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and motion is carried. Item number 9 on the agenda. Can I have someone consider a motion accepting the change order number 2 for the Upper Chichester Township 2020 road program?
So moved.
Second.
The motion and a second. Are there any comments from the commissioners? There's no comments at this time. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it, and motion is carried. Can I have someone from the board consider a motion authorizing payment to AF Damon for the 2020 road program payment request number 2 from the Look at Fuels Fund in the amount of $47,774?
So moved.
Second.
So motion and a second. Any comments from the board? All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is carried. Item number 11. Can I have somebody from the board consider a motion authorizing payment to Eagle Contractor Incorporated for the Jennifer Way Basin Project payment request number 2 in the amount of $12,228.75?
So moved.
Second.
So motion and a second. Are there any comments from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Item number 12 on the agenda. Can I have somebody from the board consider a motion authorizing the solicitor to prepare an ordinance amending the specification for furnishing and installing traffic signals in Upper Chichester Township?
So moved.
Second it I have a question. We have an ordinance already for this, aren't we? And we're just amending the traffic signals? What's the issue that we're amending? Is it the new computerized system, or is it a streetscape design, or what is the amendment for the
So 2
traffic
years
signals?
ago, I'm sorry. So 2 years ago, the board adopted this ordinance that sets the traffic signal standards in the township. And I'd say about 8-9 months ago, Bill Dunn from Signal Service, who services our traffic signals, reached out and said, look, the technology in this sector is rapidly changing. So we need to do an update of the items that are listed, because some of the items you have listed are unavailable. So basically, if someone was to come pull our ordinance, they wouldn't be able to purchase the items that are required. So what we did was we sat down with Alfred Rico, Lisa Catania, and Bill Dunn, and they reviewed all of the materials and everything and basically changed it to the new technology. So this is where it stands today as being available to purchase. So
Right.
Bill and Al both recommended that this is probably going to be something that we're going to need to update on an every 2 to 3 year basis, because this technology is rapidly changing. So to make sure that we have the accurate items in there. They also added a little ambiguity to some of the language to allow for a change, so it wasn't so rigid as to say this is the exact specific model. It's
Right.
this model is allowable by PennDOT. This could be put in, or an item allowable by PennDOT.
So this
No,
benefits the town. What's that?
No material changes to the makeup of what it is.
Right. So this will benefit the township down the road if any new development that they're able to upgrade to the newer system instead of the old system we have then.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Next two items number 13 and 14 on the agenda will be read by Commissioner Whitaker.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Consider a resolution authorizing an application to be prepared and submitted to Delaware County for the program year 2021 for the Community Development Block Grant Program.
Second it.
And
There's a motion and a second. So let's open up for comments and get the official list and designated areas for the project. So
you need
believe
to insert. You need
Go
to
ahead.
insert the Johnson
Hold on
Avenue.
1 second. I have it.
You want to insert the Johnson Avenue project as project number 1 and Mill Road on
Right.
item number 6, correct?
correct.
Six.
All right,
That
there's
is
a motion-
correct. So, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I
Commissioner.
was going to ask if you wanted me to read those 2 items from the list that Lisa gave us into the record.
Yes, please.
Okay. So priority project is Johnson Avenue rehabilitation, construction of curb, sidewalk, drive aprons, and park amenities, including play equipment, ADA access, lighting, and parking. Following the results of the Linwood revitalization plan, this project would continue the work from the Chichester Avenue Streetscape and the Community Development Block Grant 2017 Curb and Sidewalk Construction Project. This would also complete the Johnson Avenue Park Project Phase 1. Second priority project for the application is item number 6, sidewalk and curb upgrades, potential areas, Greenwood Avenue and Mill Road. This project will limit the scope length of the sidewalk, including ADA ramps and curb at the maximum of $100,000. And also make note that we are going to need to confirm that exact location as the engineer stated during the hearing.
So the designated road will be Mill Road, and Ms. Catania will come up with the extent. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so there's a motion and a second. It's been read in. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The motion is carried.
That is resolution 2020-51.
Consider an ordinance in which Upper Chichester Township desires to vacate an unnamed alley running from Columbia Avenue to I-95 and divest itself of any interest in the aforesaid alley in favor of 1830 Chichester Avenue Realty LLC.
Second?
Motion and a second. Are there any comments? No comments. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion is carried.
That is ordinance number 737.
Agenda items number 15 and 16 will be read by Commissioner Ed Rakowski.
Thank you. I move to accept the resignation of Pamela Adrian from her position on the Planning Commission effective December 31st, 2020.
Second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Are there any comments?
Well,
Just like to thank.
reluctantly, we're accepting it, but I know she's moving on to zoning, which would be a welcome addition there too.
Yes, very much.
Just like to thank Pamela for the time she served on the planning board. This past year, she served as chairman, and I'd just like to publicly thank her. So there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is carried.
Okay. I also like to move to consider the vacation of a certain 20 by 25 foot portion of Rankin Street previously vacated by ordinance and memorialized by a quitclaim deed in 2015. Adjoining the southeast corner of the grade track located on Rankin from Galbraith Avenue to Meeting House Road.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Are there any comments?
Yeah, I just want to say this is the part that we were hoping it cleans up that whole area that was actually done back in 1984, which was found out by a title company when they went to sell the property, a piece of land. So I'm hoping this does the job for all three locations in that area on Rankin Road. So thank you.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is carried. Items number 17 and 18 will be read by me. Can I have a member of the board consider a resolution authorizing escrow release number 1 for Provgo Pine Good Boothwin LLC in the amount of $359,005.50.
So moved.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Rakowski, moved by Commissioner Neary. Are there any comments? If there's no comments, all in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is carried.
That is resolution 2020-52.
May I have a member of the board consider a resolution authorizing escrow funds be released for the 759 Burdette Drive?
So moved.
Second it.
Motion and a second. Are there any comments? If there are no comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is carried.
That is resolution 2020-53.
For the remainder of the items to be considered will be read by Commissioner Joe Neary.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to consider a resolution, a motion rather, appointing Cindy Charney to the Planning Commission.
Second.
The motion and a second.
The
Any
the only
comments?
thing I'd like to say is I had several people express an interest, and I thought Cindy was by far the most qualified in terms of her past experience, and I think she'll be a welcome addition to the Planning Commission.
Agreed.
You're here. Yes.
I think the entire board is in agreement. There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is carried.
I'd like to consider a motion elevating Daniel Sullivan to the position of full-time patrolman in the Upper Chichester Township Police Department effective January 11th to 2021.
Second.
So
Second.
moved.
There's a motion and a second. Are any comments from the board? No comments. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion is carried.
Consider a motion authorizing the township solicitor to advertise an ordinance amending the township's regulation of all-terrain vehicles. So moved.
Second it.
Motion and a second. Any comments from the board?
I have 2 or 3 minor changes that are in the book, George, if you could pull them out, just some corrections.
Will
We'll
do.
take care of that, make sure they're incorporated, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
All right, it's motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion is carried.
Consider an ordinance that sets the 2021 real estate tax rate at 3.0352 mils, thus setting the rate to be revenue neutral after the Delaware County property reassessment. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments from the board?
Yes.
In the first paragraph, at the bottom, it says Nether Providence, not Upper Chichester.
It's been corrected. Thank you.
Okay.
George, is that the final assessment?
That is the final assessment.
So was this the one you received on December the 1st?
This was our number 9 township-wide assessment distributed on December 1st.
Okay, okay,
Today, they sent out the details behind that.
right.
Now, over the course of the next year, there are still going to be changes that are made to this because of the hearings that they still have to hear. And, the first year after a reassessment, you have quite a few individuals that petition their assessment. So we will most likely see some volatility over the next year.
Right. So the list that you received today, did it have numbers on it? Did it have like dollar amounts, individual assessments?
It is, I glanced through it, but I didn't get a
Okay.
chance.
Okay, no worries. I'm just asking because I just didn't know if it changed the numbers that were sent out, and they did indicate that there would be some changes due to ongoing appeals, but the bulk of them were done. I just didn't know if there was any additional information in there that would change that would require the the millage rate to be changed.
No, it's not going to change the millage rate, but that file that they sent does include like the exempt properties.
Mm-hmm.
So that, like, when they send that annual assessment that we received on December 1st, they back out tax exempt properties.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
And,
So I believe we
and
were at
I
5.
will.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I
Neer.
would like to point out that when it says revenue neutral, obviously George and I worked on this we got it to within like $2, I think, George, and
Yep.
of what it was last year at 5.1 mils. So we are revenue neutral. That does not mean people's tax bills won't change.
Right.
I was actually going to touch on that, Commissioner Neary, but you brought that up. So just to reassure everybody, it is revenue neutral. We were at 5.1. We're now down at 3.352. So I'd like to thank Commissioner Neary and our Township Manager working on that together. So there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is carried.
That is ordinance number 738.
Consider an ordinance that sets the 2021 trash collection fee at $220. So moved.
Second it.
A motion and a second. Are there any comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it and motion is carried.
That is ordinance number 739.
Consider a motion approving the 2021 Upper Chichester Township budget as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Are any comments?
I would just like to read at least the totals here for the budget. Thank everybody for the participation. It was not an easy year preparing the budget, obviously, with everything with COVID-19. We took a hit on revenues this year. but everybody really looked at their expenses to try to help balance that out. And we are anticipating another down year next year for revenues. So with that being said, the total operating funds total revenues, $13,121,086.90. Operating fund transfers, this is the transfer of real estate and taxes throughout that kind of flow into the different accounts, $2,844,503.02. So total revenue is $15,965,589.92. Subsequent expenditures, $13,121,086.90. Fund transfers, the balance of transfers at the top, $2,844,503.02 for a total expenditure line item of $15,965,589.92 in the operating funds. The total of all funds, revenues of $16,147,763.95. Transfers of $2,844,503.02 for total revenues of $18,992,266.97. Expenditures in the amount of $16,147,763.95. Fund transfers in the amount of $2,844,503.02. Total expenditures, $992,266.97 for a balance vote.
Any comments at all from the board? Not, there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and motion is carried.
The next motion, I have a question to George before I move it. Would it be better to table this and get to a point where we know exactly what it is we're relieving here, George? Because if she was eligible for the exoneration, which I don't know, we don't have any definitive proof of that, then, perhaps we could consider this. But at this point, I don't know that we have enough information. How do you feel?
I don't know how much more information we're going to get. Based off of the information provided, it would appear that for at least the last 2 years, that the exoneration would have been in play. However, prior to that, it appears that it would not.
So why don't you and I sit down and determine what is fair in terms of relieving this? I'm not in favor of relieving people, as you know, just because they didn't understand their obligation. And then we're sitting there, who's eating the legal filing fees? The township?
Yeah, I mean, so based off of the previous action of the board, in that case, we did not waive the filing fees and we did not waive the actual fee for the trash. What was waived was the interest and penalty.
So I know we did something similar to a resident in the 5th Ward for this. Joe, if you're, if you want to consider just doing the same thing, I would not object to it. Waiving interest.
I would prefer not bringing it up until we're pretty clear exactly what the number is that we're waiving. So I'm not even going to read the motion. If someone else wants to make the motion, that's up to them. But I am not in favor of doing it at this moment.
No,
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
agree.
I agree
So
with Joe too.
All right, so why don't we table it and we'll come up with the exact figures and the board can make a final decision, hopefully
Okay.
In January.
Okay.
And Joe, include
Yes.
that, like you said, the exoneration for the 2 years, and see what that number is also.
Okay.
If she's eligible for
Yeah.
the 2 years.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah,
So we'll see.
I'm willing to be fair, but at the same time, I don't think it's a good precedent to to waive past interest and stuff, but that's another conversation.
Okay.
Item 26, consider an ordinance in which Upper Chichester Township desires to establish an irrevocable tax-exempt trust to administer and provide retiree medical benefits. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Are any comments? So this is for
This-
this is for the 30-year bond that's going to help pay for our
That's-
pensions and post-retirement benefits, correct?
It sets up the legal parameters for the trust. It doesn't handle the actual financing, which we still have to do in January or February. Correct, George?
That's correct. We have to establish the trust first and then find a methodology to fund the trust if that's how we're going to proceed. We're not obligated to do that until we get obviously all the numbers and everything in line to do that. And the Board of Commissioners will have the opportunity to vet that proposal and determine whether or not it's in the best interest of the township.
And this came out of the actual study that we had on our post-retirement benefits, where we saw that there is a potential savings to the residents of roughly $20 million over 20 years by pre-funding these benefits as opposed to paying out of pocket annually.
Any questions? So motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is carried.
That is ordinance number 740.
Consider a motion approving the 2021 meeting schedule. So moved.
Second it.
Motion and a second.
There are a couple of corrections to the schedule. George, you didn't correct this for everybody, did you?
You don't have to correct the version into your pockets, however,
Okay.
packets, however, that'll be sent
Board
out.
of Health. Okay. Well, I'll mention the corrections so that we have the right document. So the Board of Health meeting that is on 11/19 is actually on 11/10,
Oh,
and these
okay.
because 11/19 is a Friday,
Mhm.
a week later.
Right, and it says
Um,
second Wednesday next to it. Got it.
Yeah. So
Mm.
the zoning hearing board, we're still determining why they moved the meeting to 11/23 because of conflicts with other meetings, but I believe that those meetings can be held in the smaller room because it's the construction committee. And what was the other one, George?
The Property Maintenance Appeals Board hold those 2 days.
So I think both of those could be held in the small room, and zoning could still meet their regular schedule. So if that's true, then we could make that 11/9, if everybody agrees to that.
Yeah, that can be done. The methodology behind it was thinking that if we were still in COVID times and virtual, that we wouldn't be able to host simultaneous meetings.
Okay,
But-
well, we can make that decision.
Yeah.
We can make that decision going forward, and we can, as we get further along, we'll do that. And the only other correction is the Emergency Management Committee is scheduled for a meeting on 10/11/21, and that is a township holiday, so we'll be asking them about that. And George did suggest that we start doing these announcements monthly instead of publishing them en masse the way we have in the past. So with those corrections, I made the motion.
Any other comments? The only thing I would just mention is, with what we went through this past year with COVID, and it looks like it's going to be going into next year, we might be rescheduling some meetings just to help us move along. So, but I'm fine with the schedule that's been presented tonight. So there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and motion is carried.
Consider a motion approving the 2021 holiday schedule. So moved.
Second it.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is carried.
Consider a motion authorizing the township solicitor to prepare an ordinance amending the fee for real estate tax certifications.
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any comments from the board? No comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion is carried.
Consider a motion approving the trash refund list 2020-11.
Second it.
Motion and a second, any comments? All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion is carried.
Consider a motion approving the list of bills in the amount of $1,018,394.67.
Second
Second.
it.
Motion and a second, any comments? All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion is carried.
Consider a motion authorizing the township treasurer to make any necessary payments to vendors prior to the 12/31/2020 year end. So
Second.
moved.
Motion and a second, are there any comments from the board? No comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion is carried.
Consider a motion authorizing the township treasurer to make any necessary transfers between operating accounts to balance said funds. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, any comments from the board? Comments, all in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion is carried. Thank you, Commissioner Neary, for reading through that lengthy portion. At this moment, I'm going to move on to commissioners and professional comments, and afterwards, if there's no objection from the board, I will ask if there's any other citizen comments. With that said, we'll move on to let's do our professionals first. We'll start with our township engineer, Ms. Lisa Catania.
Thank you, Mr. President. You do have a copy of my report. Just wanted to advise that the monument was moved from Gibbons Park and put in storage, so that the new park can be constructed. Wawa's continuing. The McKay Schoolhouse is pretty much complete at this point. We're not going to see the pay being done on McKay Avenue. They did do the parking area. However, the parking spots on McKay, unfortunately, because of some issues with the soil bearing, they're going to wait until the spring to pave that particular area. That will be blocked off so that no one can utilize those spaces. Kate's Glen, we are 99% complete, waiting for the last portion of soil that needed to be drained before it was removed from the site. That should be done by the 18th. I think with the snow, that 18th date is probably going to extend. I can't imagine that they're going to be on site tomorrow and Friday to remove the remaining silt from the basin. The AutoZone, I am going into the office tomorrow to the township office to sign the record plans so that they can be executed. Believe we have all of the other information and escrows that are necessary. Creekside Village, I have not heard anything from Mr. Costa. I did provide him with the landscaping plan, but I have not heard anything as far as his schedule to install those trees. I'm thinking that at this point it may be too late to install the trees this year. The Willowbrook Clubhouse is still under construction. They have to wait till the spring. The stormwater facility is completed with the exception of the plantings. So Mill Road, if you look just opposite of the Bergdahl Basin, you'll see a new basin. That is another rain garden within the Willowbrook Clubhouse project. The Dunkin' Donuts, we did a transportation review. We did take a look at the traffic impact study. We've not done anything else as far as a review. of the plans, but are expecting to get a formal presentation shortly. The Community Development Block Grant, the Chichester Avenue project, we actually received the last easement, and I want to thank George Needles and Joe McGinn from Energy Transfer. Joe was very instrumental in getting that easement completed. I want to thank them for their hard work in getting that done. And I believe that Mr. Paolino is very excited about getting that project started. So we will see action on the Community Development Block Grant and Multimodal Grant shortly. Otherwise, I can report general progress. I guess I should mention that the change order, the road program, we have completed the road program. The change order was a final quantities change order, brought the contract up to $477,740.01. I don't know where that little bit of ton went, but that 1 cent. Otherwise, I can report general progress, and I want to wish everyone from the Catania family and our staff a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Enjoy them, be safe, and we'll see you next year. I'll answer any questions that anyone may have.
Thank you.
I have one question, Elise.
Mhm.
With Costa, it was indicated to me that he did the repair on the driveway. Was it inspected?
It was not inspected. I have not heard from Mr. Costa at all.
Okay.
I will. Well, I was going to send I'll send Doug or Dennis out there tomorrow. However, I'm not so sure what they'd be able to see with the snow.
Right.
So
Well,
no one was there. I have no idea. It was undermined, as you know, Joe. You were at the I don't know how he repaired it. I'll certainly ask that question. I don't know how far we'll get with it, but maybe we put him on notice immediately that if there is any further undermining in that area, that he will be responsible for it. He's got an 18-month maintenance as part of this Saldo project.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments for our engineer from the board?
Yeah, I have a couple, Mike. Lisa, I was talking to the fire marshal the other day, and he noted a hydrant to be up by the clubhouse for Willowbrook. And he drove by a couple of times. He has yet to see a standpipe or anything that was even looking like they're getting ready to install this fire hydrant that he wanted to have in that location during the planning. So can you look into that to see if there's a hydrant going to be put into that area? Because there's nothing even looking like there's going to be a hydrant put there as he requested, is what my understanding.
I can certainly check on that. I'll let you know tomorrow. I don't have that information immediately.
Okay.
I'll have to take a look at their plans and see what's in the review comments. I don't recall that there was an additional hydrant that was being put in, but I could be very wrong about that. I'll check tomorrow and let you know, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? If not, we'll move on to our township solicitor, Mr. Michael Pierce.
Thank you, Mr. President. My written report is on file. We took care of most of the action items that were on the report. A couple of other highlights or issues that just want to bring to the board's attention. One, I will be attending the planning board meeting tomorrow night. There are several matters that are there for review, including the Fasano request in zoning change, looking for comments from the Planning Commission, as well as any potential changes for the breweries and brew pubs ordinances. If anybody has any questions or concerns about the breweries or brew pub ordinances, proposed ordinances, I think everybody got those changes and requested changes. If there are any additional comments, please let us know. That will be coming before the board probably shortly after the first of the year. The zoning hearing board for hearing for 3300 Market Street, in which I intervened on behalf of the township, had been continued until January the 5th, 2021, and I will be attending that on behalf of the township. All other matters, I believe, are in order. We're working on several matters with the township manager to get some items cleaned up and squared away. And I've reviewed also another matter that's coming before the planning board and will eventually come before the Board of Commissioners, is the minor reverse subdivision for 335-337 Bellevue Terrace. Other than that, everything else is in order, and I wish everybody a happy holiday and safe holidays. And Merry Christmas, and I hope to see you all soon. Thank you.
Mike, the 33 Market Street, I believe that's been continued to February.
3300 Market. Okay, the last information I have is that it was at the January meeting, but that's fine. Okay.
Yeah. No, I received the same date that you did, but I was informed that it got changed to February. But it was
Okay,
continued.
great. That's one less thing I have to do January 5th then. That's fine.
Any other comments for our solicitor from our members of the board?
Yes, Mike, what is the reason for the continuance for 3300 Market?
I think they're trying to work out and get witness testimony related to past usage of that and what is going to be allowed and what is actually going to happen there. I've had some conversations with the attorney for the applicant, and I think that there was some either misunderstanding or confusion, especially related, I know, to the signage that the applicant had put up about what was going on in there. And I indicated to him, the attorney, that that was not appropriate at this time, and that needed to be addressed before we go through with any of the zoning hearings. So I think that they are lining up witnesses and historical witnesses and exhibits, and I think that that's how that's proceeding.
Okay, so regarding the township, the business that's next door to that is Broomall Welding, right? So
Okay.
that is the business that has been there for 30 plus years, and this other business next door comes in and I guess reportedly was a landscaping business, and then he's starting to do other things that are
Right.
in direct competition to this the existing business. So my
Oh, yeah.
question for the township is that should we be getting testimony from residents that live there that can provide information on behalf of the township or that resident that's there?
That
The
would certainly
existing
be
business.
helpful, as well as the existing businesses that were there. That information would be helpful for the zoning hearing board to reach their decision. I'd be happy to talk to you about it, about any information. I'd prefer
Okay.
not to do it at the public meeting, since this matter will be litigated before the zoning hearing.
Correct. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Sure.
There's nothing, I understand that Mr. Bromo has a welding business and they were performing welding, but there's nothing, I mean, I'm trying to word this correctly. There's nothing to say that you can't have a competing business if it's zoned properly, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
It has to be zoned properly and has to be within that. Cannot have been grandfathered in, but I think, well, those matters will all be addressed before the zoning hearing board, and that's what they have to decide on, as to whether that type of business is permitted and has been permitted in the past, or that they're grandfathered in. I think that seems to be the crux to some of the issues.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for our township solicitor?
Yeah, I have one, Mike. Mike,
Yeah.
where do we stand with Luongo's contract? Is it signed or just?
It's not signed. It's been, I believe it's been drafted. I think I said to George, but I'll confirm that. I put it all together. I know that. I'm just not sure lately, with everybody kind of being in and out of the office, as to whether that was actually sent out. But we did draft that, so.
Okay. That's all.
Thank you. If there are no other questions for our solicitor, we'll move on to our township manager, Mr. George Needles.
Just that all reports are on file. We've been very busy lately. Obviously, we were a little short-staffed for a while. We're getting ready to handle all of our year-end items that we need to handle, as well as getting ready to go live with a portion of the new code software. In addition, the transition to the new payroll company is going relatively smooth as well. So everybody's been working really hard to get all these things done to make everything a better place. I think we had a great year. It's great to be acknowledged that I've reached a milestone of the 5 years of service here. Thank you very much for your trust and support throughout the years. And I just wish everybody a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas.
Don't forget my $2.
Any other questions for Mr. Needles? But if not, we'll move on to our commissioners report, and we'll start with Commissioner Nicole Whitaker.
All right, thank you. Put my glasses back on so I can read. So all reports are on file. I will just highlight a couple things from the grants report. So recreation. Right now we have a contest going on in the township for the best decorated houses. I think right now we have 39 entries. We are still accepting additional entries for that. There'll be there'll be five awards given, 5 gift certificates. Previously, we had given one to each ward. But this year, we're just going to give out 5 awards to the best houses. We're not going to do it by ward. Some wards have not been, I guess, up to par, so to speak, and some other wards are really do really go all out. So they made the rec board made an executive decision to just award 5 of the best decorated homes in the township. In addition, we have a lip sync contest. So it's a family lip sync contest. The award for that is $250. $250 lip syncing. There's 12 songs that you have to select from, and all the information's on the township's website. Right now, we only have 1 family that has entered. So right now, they're the winners. They're winning, right? Because they're the only ones. So you can also view that their entry on the on our YouTube page. So what you have to do is like it. Everyone gets points based on how many likes and how many shares their video gets. So check it out, and we're still down to the wire. I think the date, I couldn't get the date confirmed from Brian. I'm not sure if you know, George, but check out the Facebook page to find out the last date that you can enter the contest. Okay. So that's all good stuff happening in recreation. Also, just wanted the board to know, I believe for this year, the rec board brought in or generated about $55,000. We had a little over $10,000 in refunds that we had to give out. Who's talking?
Coming. Commissioner Murkowski, is that your household?
Yeah, let me hold up.
Thank you. So it was $55,000 generated, and we gave out, due to COVID, we had to give refunds because we had to close down our recreation facility. So that was around $10,000. So we netted $45,000. So recreation has been busy, doing a great job this year. Additionally, the grants right now looks like we're waiting on an application for the Tree Vitalized Watershed Grant Program. That's $5,000, and we're waiting on a decision for the recycling program. It's the evaluation of the recycling programs for technical assistance for that. We're waiting on that as well. I was going to ask Barb if she had anything about Heart and Soul, but she got off. So again, all the reports are on file. Finally, I just want to acknowledge Gail King. Gail was on our there's Barb. Gail was on emergency management for several years.
She was appointed to the sewer authority to represent the 2nd Ward. And I'm trying to think what date. So last weekend, so she passed away, and she passed away from breast cancer. And she just was a great person, really great person. I'm sorry, excuse me. So I just wanted to acknowledge her and the great things that everyone and the messages of support and concern that everyone has sent to me to forward to her family. They have been great, and I just appreciate everyone's their love and support during this very, very difficult time. I believe her services are going to be on Monday at Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. The viewing is open to the public, and the viewing will be from 9 to 11. The funeral will be private because it's limited seating at the church. So again, the viewing will be from 9 to 11 on Monday at Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. Finally, I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and just to acknowledge the township staff and for doing a great job during COVID and toughing it out during this difficult year for everyone, as well as our police department, our highway department, always, going above and beyond. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone and to have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Whitaker. I just want to acknowledge Gail also. She was somebody that talked to me on a regular basis, and I know that prayed for me, and she also prayed for the township. And so she will be great. She will be great. She will be greatly missed. I also knew John Ordoff and Jerry Gasparo also. They were great individuals also. I'm sure Walter Gottschall, don't know him personally, but just want to give my condolences out to each and every one of the family members who are going through this loss at this moment. So thank you. If there's no other comments for Commissioner Whitaker, we'll move on to Commissioner Ed Rakowski.
Thank you. I don't know where I go from here. I mean, echoing everybody on the board with the loss of everybody we just honored tonight, from John Orndorff, Mr. Gatchell. I don't know if some people realize Mr. Gatchell actually was my math teacher back in the high school. And Jerry, everybody knew Jerry. He was out on the street day, night, rain, sleet, snow. He was better than your mailman. He was always out there. Would always give a hand to anybody. If you called, he was there. Gail, anytime I talked to Miss Gail, biggest smile on her face. It's been a lousy year for us. I mean, we've gone through a lot, lost a lot of good people. My report's going to be short and sweet. I just have one request, but like I said, just pray 2021 turns around for everybody. It's been lousy, and it's hit hard here in the township. Sorry about the puppy dog. But like I said, there's not too much more to echo on all the people we had the moment of silence for tonight. But I'm only got one request. I asked Lisa already about the fire hydrant. I'll talk with the fire marshal about that because that is a concern with us over there in Willowbrook. Also, I'd like the board to, I'd like to move on with that Rankin Road. Rankin Road seems to be an issue over there on vacating it. And it was done in 1984, the portion that Mike just did for Gray, which went back up to the other end. And I understand, I was talking to George today, I think there's an easy way we could figure it out without costing the township any money. But I'm just trying to clean up another little situation we have on Rankin. There's 3 more houses over on Rankin that was vacated. I just want to make sure that those properties are correct, because there's one right now up for sale right across the street from the middle school. And I just don't want the same issue that the title company comes back. And I just want to make sure if we could look into George could look into the realtor we could find out what it would be for us to find out how to make sure those properties were done correctly or a quiet claim deed onto their title, knowing that they have the ownership, or there isn't an issue, then we're good. It came up with the issue because there was Mr. Gray's property was 2 different deeds, 2 different vacates, and that was the issue. And the title company found it. The one property right across the street from Mr. Gray was recently sold within the last year and a half prior to Mr. Gray's, and apparently they didn't have an issue. But I just want to make sure the one on Meeting House Road doesn't have an issue, and I just want if I could get the authority from the board just to look into it, to make sure everybody's property is okay on that other end, so we don't have this issue and just trying to clean the mess up from 1984. The ordinance is there, but I just want to make sure the property owners, there's nothing else on our end that we have to fix. That's all. That's all I'm asking for the board for tonight. That's all. So, and like I said, all the other reports should be on file. I'll be on the fire marshal to get his reports for the year end. The medics will have their year end report. Also, one last one, the Boothwyn Town Center is moving forward. We talked to the planner. We're going to plan something for the 1st of January due to the COVID situation we had at the township, and trying to get together with all the members for the task force just to have an open meeting one night, and whether it's Zoom or over at the McKay School with Mike, being that he's going to be opening that up shortly and he's part of the task force. We want to get busy on the town center and all that. So, go ahead. Other than that, that's it. And I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, as everybody else says, and a Happy New Year.
Ed, are you asking?
So for Commissioner McCaskey, for Rankin Avenue, so why don't we have an offline discussion about it to see what it's entailed and bring it up in January. I believe it would need a motion and a second to proceed. And let's get our ducks in a row to see what entails for it to be done, and then hopefully we can put this to bed.
That's fine. I mean, I think George has an easier way of doing it, where if we could do it that way and not have to worry about the solicitor or engineer having to do anything, it may be already done. You're right. I mean, but if we need to move forward, I like to try to move forward so we don't have the issue again for the other property owners.
I had the same question, Mike, so good. I'm good.
Okay, thank you. If there's no other questions for Commissioner Rakowski, we'll move on to Commissioner Jerry.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our report should be relatively short. The current financials are available at the office, as well as the tax collection report and the police report. I'd like to thank the board for elevating the new patrolman effective in January, as we've had a number of shortages, including one injury. And I'd like to echo everybody's comments about Gail. I first met her when I had the zoning application in to add the addition to our house, and she was on the board, and she had to be one of the sweetest, nicest people I've ever met. So I will miss her. I'd like to thank everybody for all the work they've done this year. I'd like to wish everybody a happy holiday, regardless of what holiday you celebrate, and have a happy new year as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for Commissioner Neary? If not, we'll wrap up with my report. Planning and zoning, I believe our solicitor covered the items that I was going to cover, so we don't have to review that. One thing I would like to note, I'd like to bring to the board's attention that we did receive a sketch plan for 650 Cherry Tree Road, and the plan is a 10-parcel subdivision plan. So I just want to bring the board's attention to that. I believe that's in Commissioner Baako's ward. The only other thing I would like to touch on, and I've talked about it in the past several months, is concerning our EIT. My understanding is that the school board has appointed a committee to review whether or not to obtain a 0.5% of our EIT. So what I would like to do, what I would like to propose to the board tonight is for us to write a letter to the school board stating our position and hopefully having some representation on this committee to see, just to have an open discussion. I'd like to give them our viewpoint and how we utilize the EIT. If it does happen, it's going to be a $2.5 million deficit for the township, and that's a number that we would have to replenish if this was to go through. So again, I would like for us to write a letter to the school board, or just to reach out to them to start having an open dialogue about the situation. And the two representatives that I would consider sending, if they would be willing to work with us, would be George Needles and Mike Stenaglia. I know Commissioner Neary had a question. I talked to Mike Pierce earlier this week about whether or not the school board could actually do it. My understanding is that if it would happen, it would happen through a referendum. So, Mr. Pierce, did you find any additional information?
I did do a little bit of research, and I've been kind of pounding the pavement looking for some definitive answers, specifically related to whether or not there was an agreement or an understanding that particular course of action was not going to be taken by the school board. My understanding, at least at this stage of the game, is they do have the ability to enact either 1/2, 1%, or 1.5% EIT should they so choose. But depending on which level they go into, excuse me, they might have to make adjustments to their property tax millage, and that is a fairly extensive process. The ability to get the quote 1.5% is not as extensive, and I think that they may be looking at the path of least resistance. But it does appear, at least with my initial review and research, that they have the ability, if they so choose, based on a referendum, to do that.
So I'd take any comments from the board tonight. I think the initial step that I would like to see is us contacting the school district, stating our position and seeing if they would be willing to allow us to participate in this committee. So,
So, Mr. Pierce, did you state that you were looking for any type of records, written documentation where the school board stated that they would not take try to seek half of the 1%?
My first mission was to determine whether or not they could do this at this stage of the game, as opposed to having done it when the actual EIT was initiated. My initial part of the research seems to indicate that they are not constrained by the time period as to when they can exercise that option, as long as the EIT was in place, which obviously it is because we are receiving the 1%. The second part of that was based on conversations with the Board of Commissioners at our last couple of meetings, who seemed to indicate that there was at least an historical understanding that when the EIT came up for review, and when certain property taxes or assessments were done, that the school board would not be exercising their ability to obtain at least that 1.5%. I have not been able to see any of that documentation, or find any of that documentation is the proper word. And I know that I've spoken to Commissioner Neary, who is going to check with some of the prior members that may have that understanding and take a look at that and see where that came from and what the genesis of that was.
Okay. Commissioner Neary, have you found anything yet?
Well, Michael and I just had the discussion this afternoon. I'm going to
Yeah.
speak
Got it.
to
Okay.
Bill Taylor and I believe Ken Downey.
I have pulled some boxes out of archives and started going through them, trying to find information about that period of the, when the 1% was enacted. There's not a lot from that time period, so I'll do my best to keep going through that.
And that was 2009, 2008. What year was that?
2000. It was 2009 because it was the year
Right.
you and I were elected.
Right. Okay.
And George, you're not. I don't believe that you're going to find anything in our records about that. So I wouldn't waste my time doing that because the agreement, from what I recall, that I was told, that as of them taking advantage of the Act One, I believe it is, Mike,
Yep.
that they were precluded. That they were precluded from taking the 1%, which is why I think the township waited. But as I said, I will speak to Bill Taylor and I will speak to Ken Downey and find out what their recollection is.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I've stated in the past several months is, I'm not in favor of this. I would like to communicate that.
Excuse me.
Hopefully I can get the rest of the commissioners on board with that, but I'm willing to talk with them. I want there to be a clear understanding of how we utilize it, and what impact it won't have, what impact would have with us as the township, but also our other local townships, Lower Chichester, Trainer, and Marcus.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I know for the past 2 to 3 years, we've allocated the EIT to help fund the police budget. I know we did that last year. We did that this year. That's what we voted on. So if it happens, it's going to be a hit to the township. It's going to be a tax shift. It's not going to be a tax savings. And we would have to, it'll be a trickle effect within the township itself.
So yeah, I'm in favor of you sending a letter to ask for the township to be a part of that committee for discussions regarding that. If they're open to it. But yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I need one more.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I indicated to you this afternoon when you called.
Okay.
Or yesterday, whatever it was. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Yep, I'm fine with the letter, Mike. I just want us to still do our research on what exactly happened in 2009. So for our sake, just to make sure we have the record ready to go in case we have to fight this or whatever needs to be done. Or if we, like you said, we may not find nothing in our records, but then hopefully the Act One gives us the benefit of it, but I'm not sure. I don't think we should not research our end while we still try to participate with them.
Okay. All right. And everybody's fine with Mike and George, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mike Stonagley. Okay. I don't have anything else other than I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And before I make my closing statements, we will take our citizens' comments once again. So if there's any citizens that have any comments that would like to call in, the call number is 571-744-4021. Again, the call-in number is 571-748-4021. Let me repeat the phone number again. 571-748-4021. And the code is 879-827-234 #. Again, the code is 827-829-234 #. Should I repeat that one more time?
Yes.
The code is 827-829-234 #. Give it another minute or so. All right, let the record show we didn't get any additional citizen comments. We do have some new business, so I'll let you move on to that. And Mr. George Needham.
Good evening, everybody. Again, we received a request from the deputy tax collector for some tax refunds to be approved by the Board of Commissioners. Some overpayments where we had Wells Fargo make the payments and individuals make the payments as well. So the tax refunds are as follows: Brendan Collin, in the amount of $740.14. I'm sorry, Colin Brennan, in the amount of $740.14. James Murray, in the amount of $69.69. James Murray, in the amount of $14.59. Kristen Eck, in the amount of $809.46. Marianne Calenza, in the amount of $608.66. Total of $2,242.54. And the totality of these, the check will actually be written and issued to Wells Fargo Bank.
So moved.
Second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Is there any other new business from any other commissioners?
Yes, I just wanted to add Heart and Soul. The Heart and Soul it has committee just entered stage 4 of their values, finalizing their value statements. Barb, is there anything else that's of importance for Heart and Soul, or is that it? Okay, so you're on mute. We can't hear you, Barb.
Barb, you're on mute.
Okay, I got me. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
We just did a milestone of verifying the statements, and it's in your packet, in your binder. So we'd really appreciate if you look at the verification statements and give us your comments, because they're going to go out into the community soon. So we really want your input from, you as the leaders of the community, and George and Mike and Lisa. You're more than welcome to comment. If you give it to me by Friday or Monday, I know it's a little, next week is fine. But we're really going to do a push on those verification statements. And then that's where we get the action items. And that's where we get the action items, create the plan for the township. And we are going to have the Pennsylvania Humanities Council and the Orton Foundation come to a board meeting, hopefully, if you allow them, and give an update on where we are and have them give you it from a funder's perspective and how this whole process works. So we really, if you see anybody from the leadership team, really thank them, because they did a lot of work, and they really are a phenomenal group of people to work with. So it's you guys are going to be really happy with the report. Thank you for letting me talk.
All right. Yep. Thanks, Barb. That's all I have, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. So if there's any other business, I just like to close out, just like to wish everybody Merry Christmas throughout the township, our township staff. I'd like to thank the board for working together again this year. It was a trying year, as Commissioner Rakowski mentioned earlier, everybody else also. So hopefully 2021 will be a better year. Keep our country and our nation in our prayers. So with that said, I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Merry Christmas, everyone.
All righty.
Merry Christmas.
There.
Happy New Year. Yeah. Oh, thank you.